Welcome to the Enkindled Columbus podcast. You're listening to My God is a Gun by Crushing Gravity. If you want to hear more from the band, check them out on Soundcloud or Reverbnation.
As always, show us some love on Instagram at Enkindled Columbus or on Facebook or Patreon.
Now on to the podcast.
Welcome to the Enkindled Columbus podcast. My name's Zach.
And this is Alonzo. Today we're with Mike, Troy, Matt of Crushing Gravity. What the hell is up?
What's up?
And who we're missing today? We're missing the lead guitarist.
Yeah, we are missing Alex.
Sick with a case of the booze flu.
He's got the booze flu.
Damn
Yeah,
booze
the booze
flu.
He
Last
says
night
that's
was,
not the case, but
Slayer. So I mean, I think there's a lot of people going through it today.
Yeah, it's I guess it was passing around that crowd. I don't know what the deal was.
Yeah.
I was there. I'm here.
Yeah, he made it. He must have got his booze flu shot.
Enemy. He's a warrior.
So let's just jump into it, guys.
Mm-hmm.
How did you all meet each other? How'd this come together? I know between Matt and Troy, you guys have a long history. I don't know.
We've grown up together.
Okay,
we
wow.
met each other in high school. Our freshman year, we were 14 years old.
Wow.
And we've been best friends ever since.
This is true, man.
Yeah.
Absolute best friends.
Good times.
And then Meeksy, we've known Mike. He used to be the bass player for Counting Casualties, which was a badass band in the Columbus scene. And we commandeered him. He's also the bass player of the local band Project Phoenix as well. But we were able to commandeer him to come and play with Crushing Gravity. So,
And he's played with Last Minute Messiah, our prior band. Mm-hmm. I think we were together for 12, 13
Something
years?
like that. We started jamming about maybe 02.
Yeah.
damn, you old bastards.
Well, you're the oldest, so, you know. But, yeah, we've got a long history of playing music together, just being buddies and, you know.
Yeah, just kind of turned into...
Yeah.
Oh, I don't mean
go ahead.
I don't
Go
mean to
ahead.
interrupt, but I was saying, I guess, kind of hearing this long history,
Mm-hmm.
you know, since starting Crushing Gravity, what have you brought along with your past musical projects that's been different now with Crushing Gravity?
Well, so Last Minute Messiah was more of it was heavier. It was a heavier project.
We were tuned a lot lower.
Yeah, we called it drop Z tuning.
It was actually
gauges.
It was actually drop B.
Right.
It was drop B.
Yeah, we called it drop Z just because it sounds funny. But you know, it was just a heavier project, and I mean, I think as we've got older, and you know, we just sort of tamed down a little bit.
Yeah, turned it down a notch.
And we're still hard rock. I mean,
Yeah, we're
undeniably
hard
so.
rock
We've
because
got
that's
an
where
edge
we
to
live.
ourselves. But
Yeah,
I think it still keeps us young.
yeah. Well, music keeps you young.
No, I mean, I think what's really cool about your guys' music is it's like, obviously you're making it now in 2019, 2018, but it has the feel of something from the 80s or 90s. And I think that's so cool to hear that because you don't hear a lot of stuff that sounds like that anymore. I mean, it's a lot of time-aligned guitars, perfect drums, and this and that.
Yeah.
And you guys have that like that raw, gritty sound of being
An
from
organic
the 80s.
sort
man.
of.
It's raw for sure.
Yeah.
Especially in the vocal, I think, department also.
Oh,
We're not
well,
leaning
thank
on
you.
any technology. You know, it's like
Yeah.
everybody in the band plays their instruments. We're not heavily processed in any manner.
Yeah.
I think we get serious about our sound, particularly like our studio selection. You know, everything that we've recorded, we've done with Sonic Lounge with Joe Veers out in Grove
Sonic
City.
Joe.
And, he just makes our. I think we have a minimalist sound, so to speak, but in working with Joe, he just makes it sound huge, you know.
He does.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys sound like from the music I've heard. I mean, it sounds like I could hear it coming out of like an arena. Like you guys could be,
thanks.
you guys could be up there,
dude.
and I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. I'm serious. Like when I listen to it,
He likes
especially
blowing smoke up his ass.
especially like when you guys first played
Some
it.
mechanics, but yes, I really enjoy it.
Well, especially like when you guys first played it for me. If you didn't say that it was your band, I would have had no clue. I'd have been over there headbanging, like
Nice,
really
man.
getting into it.
What I said the other day, I was like, when I listen to this, it makes me want to punch someone in the face.
Makes you want to get a fist fight.
Yeah, it makes me
or something.
want to get in a fist fight.
We'll take that. Yeah.
No, and I think that's cool. I think it's cool in any genre of music. If you make music and you're somehow moving someone in any way or form, I think that's a really unique experience.
An emotional reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you can invoke an emotional reaction, via music, I think you're doing something right.
Oh yeah, you've done your job right as a musician.
Yeah,
especially like
absolutely.
I think the coolest thing is like when you look back at the crowd when you're playing and you see them, just like you said,
watching
moving,
the crowd move. I love
and,
it.
and
Yeah.
learning your lyrics and singing along with it and just really getting into it.
right.
When you lay a solo down and people are like, "Damn, that's a sick solo." There's something to that. It's like a drug almost when you're on stage. It just keeps you going.
Yeah, it really does.
And I think this is a random question. Kind of making harder music. Would you consider yourself an angry person? Like, I guess anyone here at the table.
Oh yeah.
Do you think there's? Do you think that like that emotional part of anger is what's coming through in your music?
I actually, so from a writing perspective, for me, I actually find that to be more of a release of
like you're stressed, you're getting rid of that.
I find it to be a release as opposed
Getting
to
that
being,
energy out.
Yeah,
man.
you move it out, you dismiss it.
Yeah, I think
the wrong
music's
people ordeal. Yeah,
Right.
I understand.
I think music's
You
a
don't
good
carry it with you.
It's
You
a good
leave it.
outlet for that kind of stuff because once sitting down, before we had the mics on, sitting down, you guys are all the calmest guys in the world.
Right.
You're very chill. Troy's always every time I come in here, Troy just how's it going, man? He's always in a good mood.
Yeah.
And it's just like
And Mike's
Well, he beats
Mike's
the hell
over
out
here
of the
like
drums.
I'm fucking,
yeah, exactly.
That's his
the-
release.
Yeah.
The crazy part about it is Mike, as our bass player, he's got like this.
You're very reserved.
Meeksy.
Like,
His nickname is Meeks or
Yeah.
Meeksy, and it's
Or
kind of like
Enemeeks.
or Enemeeks, yeah, when he's like thrashing on the bass. But it's wild to think that his demeanor is so peeled back, and then it's like he lets all of his demons out when he jumps on that bass.
Yes, he
and
does.
Pretty much.
Starts shredding, man.
I have fun with it.
You do
Yeah,
indeed,
you do.
brother.
So you guys brought up recording at the Sonic Lounge, which I
Yeah.
said, I brought this up earlier. I've never heard anything bad come out of that place. But what was the experience like? I mean,
Amazing.
I'm sure you've all recorded
You
in one
finished
way
a
or another before
four-song
that.
EP, right? For when you were at the Sonic Lounge, or was this?
Yeah, we've got
yeah.
the 4 songs done. We've had them up on SoundCloud. They haven't been 100% mastered, and that's like one of our goals now is to kind of finalize those 4 songs and then officially put out an EP. So, but I got to tell you, going into Sonic Lounge is almost a spiritual experience. You go
Agreed.
in there, and the board that is in there is a Neve console that Joe Veers repotted by himself, and it used to belong to Eric Clapton.
Wow.
So when you go in there,
I knew
dude,
there was a story to it.
when you
yeah.
go in there
there's
and you're laying
history.
down tracks, you're like, damn,
There's
Eric
huge
Clapton
history.
did the same thing on this console, So
Yeah.
it's pretty special. And Joe Veers, man, I just love that guy. I love him, the creativity and vision he brings to our songs. Like I spoke to earlier, how I think we are a minimal, stripped down kind of rock and roll band. We don't try to plug a bunch of technology in to enhance our sound.
Absolutely.
I guess we're purists in that way. But what's really cool is when you go in that studio, you got to have the nucleus of the song there. But Joe just seems to be able to take that song and make it big.
Yeah.
He's more of a. It's more of a producer.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
It's more of a producing experience as opposed to just someone turning knobs.
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
you
Someone
from it then,
mixing
I'm
some
guessing?
like just
Oh,
mixing and
absolutely, man.
recording. He really gets personally involved.
Yeah.
Which is we really enjoy that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We
And I think
enjoy
that's a
it. We've
distinction.
got a lot of history now with him too, so it's an amazing experience.
Every song we've done with him, he does a little personal touch too, where he likes to jump on, whether it's adding like
Harmonies
instrument accents, or
yeah.
he's doing some vocal harmonies with us. It's just amazing, and he's so diverse in his capabilities. I mean, he's done 21 Pilots, Lydia Loveless. He recorded all the cool shit for Boba Flex, and it's like, wow, could those artists be any different, you know? But at one time when we were in there, he had all three of those bands. They were on the radio at the same time, and it's like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, you know you're in the right hands.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So bring me into the songwriting process for you guys. How does that normally go?
That's
It
an
goes
interesting
a lot of
question.
different ways, actually.
Yeah.
It's collaborative, which is
yeah.
wonderful.
For any riff we come up with, Matt's always got some lyrics to it, you know. So and there's lots of songs that just come together.
Lyrics for it, but yes, it's
a lot of us.
I think it's pretty much riff oriented. I mean,
Yeah,
we
I
kind
was
of
going to say,
start
are
with
you
the
more
riff
of somebody
and-
that hears you hear the song and then you're like, oh, okay, I can do something to that.
Yeah, I typically I'll hear a melody, you know, over a riff and sort of the rhythm of the song, and then it just, I mean, sometimes I just kind of free write, you know,
Yeah.
I scat, if you will,
Yeah, no,
kind of
absolutely.
over what's going on, and then I kind of develop the lyrical content over it.
Yeah.
It seems like there's been a few songs that just came together pretty quickly, you know.
Except for this was
Yeah.
one of them,
Yeah.
actually.
That's crazy, and we're really excited about the single that we just recently did with Joe. It's called "Suffer This," and it's going to be in a new TV series called "The Thin Blue Line." So
Yeah, talk
we're
about that.
stoked
Talk about the
that.
Thin Blue Line.
It is a movie that is, interestingly enough, shot entirely in Columbus. They are shooting 3 episodes here, and I am also serving as the music supervisor for the project. So we're really excited about hopefully hooking up like a bunch of our local musician and band friends and helping get their music into the project as well. So we're stoked, and our song "Suffer This" is going to be a track that is used in the first episode.
Nice.
And we're really excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, are you able to talk about a little bit of what the show's about?
Yeah, man. It's really neat. It's like a cop drama. It kind of chronicles the life of a couple of detectives that are kind of friends, and there's a third detective as well. And it's just kind of these guys experiencing crimes and then going in and doing the hard work that the police officers in Columbus do of trying to solve those crimes, and I think what's really wonderful about it is it's being shot in Columbus 100%, these first 3 episodes, and it features Columbus actors. We're going to do our work to get Columbus musicians plugged into it. In fact, I think the screening of episode 1 is going to be done at Gateway up on campus.
Yeah.
That's a really neat venue, too.
Which is very cool. And any band that we end up getting involved with in that, even our band, they're going to have like a big red carpet event. So
oh, nice.
that'll be very, very cool, to be a part of that. And it's like a little bit of Hollywood in Columbus.
Yeah, no, that's really unique.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, it gives the bands a great opportunity. And I've always been a fan of crime shows, so I'm excited to watch.
Right.
Yeah.
That's for you, yeah.
Yeah, I think that brings up a question I want to ask. With you three kind of going through the years of seeing the Columbus music scene, do you think there's enough out there that's supporting the actual scene, or what do you think?
Not yet. At least
Not
that
yet.
would be my not.
So there's
not
been
my
something.
opinion.
Has there been something then? I guess like
I think
there's a
we're
ton of
working
fantastic
collectively.
talent, but
Tons of bands, yeah.
I think what happens is once a band kind of hits around this community, to get the professional supports that they need, they have to go someplace else, because Columbus doesn't have like an office for a major record label. They don't have publicists that specialize in the needs of recording artists. But I think that's one of the cool things that the Columbus Music Commission is working toward, is getting that that business community and infrastructure in place to help everybody.
Yeah, no, I think that's you're absolutely right. I think in the time that we've been doing, I think we've been doing this for 6 or 7 months. Even in that time, we've seen a couple bands that were like, "Wow, we got to get them on the show." And next thing you know, they're moved across the country.
Yeah.
And, that opportunity's
Chicago,
gone.
we've had that.
What a great
Yeah.
city, man, Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the artists
The
we
Windy
have,
City.
one of the artists we have coming up bounces back and forth between Columbus and LA. So that's you're absolutely right. There's not enough.
The support system.
Yeah.
You know, the support system for musicians and for bands, it's not there yet. Mm-hmm. But I think collectively everyone's kind of working.
It's coming, though.
You know,
it's coming.
We're working on developing those things.
There are great people trying to facilitate that.
Yeah, with Crushing Gravity, have you guys experienced any problems yourself, like trying to get out and gigging, or just like
no, not really, man.
That's hip.
No,
or any challenges at all, I guess, with that being asked.
Well, challenges. I think our biggest challenge we've just experienced is one of our founding guitar players. His mother passed away over the summer, and he just kind of sat down with us as a band and said, "Hey, listen, guys, you know, I kind of need to check out at this point."
Yeah. Lineup changes always hurt.
Absolutely.
That's a whole creative mind that you got used to is completely gone.
Well, yeah,
so now you have to learn a new person if you're bringing someone
right,
in.
Absolutely.
And we loved and still love Mike Stevens, who was with our band from the onset. You know, we love him and we wish him all the best. And
he's also a childhood friend. I mean,
so another person.
He's been a part of the posse.
He has been
for
a part of.
time,
He's been in our friend base and in our band base for years. So
so I mean that's tough, especially seeing friends go through those kind of things. It makes it hard.
It's tough.
You know,
so
go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
No. I was.
Oh,
please.
Well, I guess I'll go ahead.
Indubitably.
So, I mean, what inspired you to get into music? We'll start with Matt. What inspired you? What were some of the bands that you were like, man, that makes me, that inspired you to get into music, that made you realize, like, man, I can do that, and I want to do that?
One of the life-changing events for me in music was the video for Motley Crue, Livewire. That video blew my mind.
Nicky caught his shit on fire.
He did, and I thought that was the coolest shit I have ever seen.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like 14 or 15 years old.
Yeah.
And there's a dude catching himself on fire, and it was the sickest thing I'd ever seen. And the excitement, I was waiting to get on the bus, but every morning I waited, and I was hoping that they would play that video on MTV when MTV was
actually played music.
When they played music.
Now we're dating ourselves.
I waited like on the edge of my couch before I had to go out and get on the bus. I waited hoping to see that video. That was life-changing. That Motley Crue was probably the most life-changing event for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Musically.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a good.
Yeah.
Like, those guys were just fucking crazy.
It was lunacy.
Yeah.
But it was the best lunacy I'd ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and I connected with it.
Yeah, anybody who's a little different, you're like, a little rebellious, a little punky.
Oh, yeah.
You see something like that, you're like, man, those guys are fucking dude. They're doing whatever the hell they want. They don't have to work a 9 to 5.
They're
up there
themselves
fucking.
on
They're setting themselves on fire.
That's cool shit.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Troy?
Well, Motley Crue was a big band for me. Johnny Cash, man. As a kid, I got turned on to, all of his body of work, and I don't know. I think
grave can hold this body down.
That's true, man. And I think just the community that I was plugged into, music was such a big part of it, and it was like this common thing that threaded everybody together, and. For me, just being in a band, the handful of times that I've been in a band, I just, felt like I was a part of a gang. And I guess really at the core of it, that's why I always wanted to be in a band,
Yeah, absolutely.
That brotherhood,
Yeah, there's something to that.
It's a complete different bond. Like, I think when it comes to, there's been things like, even like lyrics. We have our singer in our own group's name is Isaac. And there's been times like I've talked to him and told him lyrics, and he'll be like, dude, like, what the hell are you thinking? Like, what's going on in your life? And I'm like, man, you're the first person I've ever told this or this.
Yeah,
well, it's so personal.
Yeah, it is personal.
It's so personal.
Because you're literally... I think that's what's cool about, like, when it comes to guitar. Literally, when you're playing, you're literally showing people what you're thinking. Like,
absolutely.
It's a visual, act.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. And I think that's when you start to get to that threshold of, like, man, this is how I really feel.
It's pouring out your emotion.
Yeah,
man.
and then you're
bearing your soul.
And if someone's accepting of that, I think that becomes not only a friend, then that's someone who you can write music with
and can trust.
And can trust. And
that's
such a
trust with your soul.
Yeah, because you're I think anytime you're making music, you're being vulnerable. You're putting yourself out there. You're hoping that it connects with people.
And putting yourself out there is scary.
It can be. Sometimes it's scary. All times. It's horrifying.
And having people, I think that's the craziest thing. Being on stage and knowing you have other people, like, okay, at least they're with me.
Enduring it, too.
Yeah, they're with me now.
It's your battle force.
Yeah. And I think that can lead to making something else more beautiful, bigger than yourself.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
How about you?
Just the brotherhood of it all. I mean, I know these guys, they have my back. Like, if I ever needed anything, I know in a heartbeat, these dudes would be here for me. For anything ever needed.
Yeah,
and drop everything you're doing. Yeah, and So there's a saying that a lot of people use. I would walk into traffic for you. Mm-hmm. I disagree with the walking part. Yeah. Because I don't walk into traffic. I fucking run.
Yeah.
I run into traffic.
Can we avoid traffic?
If you need, well, if there's traffic, I'm not walking. I'm running.
Sure.
And I just,
that traffic being somebody in the band needing something.
That's how we roll. Right. We don't walk into traffic for each other. We run.
No questions asked.
Yeah. We run.
No, that's great though. That's great. You guys take care of each other, especially after how long you've known each other.
I know, man.
It's once in a lifetime that you meet people like that just stick with you forever. But that's how you know that there's something.
Well,
there.
that shit's real.
Yeah,
exactly. It's actually part of the backstory of the name of our band, Crushing Gravity. Mm-hmm. We had this idea that, crush the gravity that holds you down.
Okay, that's
crush
really cool.
the gravity that prevents you from being who you want to be or doing the things that you want to do.
Stressors in life.
Yeah, man, crush that down. Yeah. That gravity, smash it down.
Smash
and
it down.
that was the genesis for naming our band Crushing Gravity.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. I think it fits you guys perfectly, especially once you explain it that way and then you listen to the music. You can really hear where that's coming from.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
How about you, man? What inspirations for music? What got you into it? What made you realize that you were different? You wanted to get into music?
Motley Crue and Ozzy. Those were my gateway bands into heavy metal. And, I ventured into Slayer, Metallica. I just saw Slayer last night.
Yeah,
it was awesome with Primus.
Yeah, Primus. Yeah, I originally started on guitar, and then the Primus, Flea.
Les Claypool's
that's the kind of stuff that inspires people to get into bass. When you hear like
Jane's Addiction,
that bass is more than just
as a lead instrument. That's
crazy.
Yeah.
So did you get to see Phil Anselmo, man?
Yep. Yeah, he was awesome.
Man, I'm so jealous. What was that like? We got there like right after that ending. That was like one of the things I wanted to see.
He started right at 6:00. I mean, he was, he was great. I mean, he just went out there and played a lot of the hits. He didn't play all the big ones. He didn't play like Cowboys from Hell or Walk, but
Cowboys
pretty much
Hell.
all of the other
He didn't play
ones.
The whole album's fucking sweet.
Yeah.
That's good shit.
Good show. That's a good show.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. First time I've ever seen fire at a show. Fun fact.
Really?
Yeah. Fun fact.
Yeah, fun fact about myself. We were sitting somewhat far. And we got some heat. I could only imagine being on stage.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
And being roasted.
Of like, because we were like up on the deck, so we were like levels up, and I'm like, man, you could feel, every time the fire blasts, you could feel it up there. Yeah. And I'm like, man, if we can feel it that hot right here, what's it feel like to be on stage?
You know,
to be standing next to it.
Yeah, right.
After seeing that show, it brings up a point. Every time I see a show, you know what I do as soon as I get home?
What do you do?
I play my guitar.
Yeah. You're inspired. Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So the
inspiration.
Yeah.
And I don't like saying I compare myself to others, but almost like when I see someone on stage, not like we'll dial it back down to local, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If I see someone on stage, I'm like, fuck, I can do that.
man.
Yeah, I can do.
Absolutely.
Do you think that's ever anything you've ever faced? Like, you ever feel like you've compared yourself to others? Let's say it's big bands, local bands, whatever it is. Do you think that's something you've done?
Absolutely. I mean, there are so many bands that have been influential on me, and I think on this band. I won't speak for the guys because I know we probably have different ones, but I definitely know that there are similar influences that kind of tie us all together creatively and stuff.
Absolutely.
So, I would say when you listen to our music, man, it's a modern interpretation of some of the heavier stuff from the 90s for sure. Mm-hmm. But Yeah, I think there are bits and pieces that you pull from all of these bands you grew up loving, and somehow it just kind of works into your creative DNA somehow. I don't know how to explain it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you draw that inspiration. You're like, man, that person made me want to play guitar. Like you got to. It's almost like paying homage.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
I think if your music, again, we talked earlier about that emotional response or whatever it is. Like, they're doing something right, because every time, I'm telling you, like, I'll watch something and I'm like, I need to create. I need to do something, because
it inspires you.
It does.
And think about that emotional response. So you're driven to create from something that was created. I mean, that's you.
It's like paying it forward almost.
Yeah,
a little
absolutely.
Bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's a weird. I guess it's a weird way to think about it, but yeah, it's like a snowball effect. And I don't know. Like, I think
that's the ultimate, like, homage to, like, creating something. You're creating something that
inspires
someone to create.
And then they create something more.
Not just, inspire them to listen and inspire an emotional response, but it inspired someone to create.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like a God move right there.
And I think all self-expression in any form is honestly so moving.
I think it's necessary. I think it's more than just moving. I think it's necessary, because if people don't have that outlet,
then you're a robot.
This is Suffer This by Crushing Gravity, presented by Craft and Vinyl.
to the podcast.
So tell me about, you said you went to a Slayer concert with your dad. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, wow. How much can I say?
Oh, go.
Are we allowed to curse?
You can say whatever you
say
want.
Am I allowed to get gross?
100% uncensored.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm sure you could probably find this on YouTube somewhere, but 87, I was probably 13 years old, and that dates me, but my dad took me to the show and wanted to make sure I wasn't doing drugs or anything, and we were way up in the balcony at the Newport, and Slayer
at the fucking Newport.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Oh, my God.
Slayer, Wasp, and Raven.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Wasp was there.
Oh!
Yeah. Anyways, Tom Araya, the singer, he says, I want to dedicate this song to the girl that got on the bus. She's not really my type. My type are the kind that are 6 feet under.
6 feet under.
The best part is when you go to eat them out, the maggots grind in your teeth.
Oh, my God.
My
dude.
dad was at that show.
That's so gross.
Wow.
So.
Slayer.
I mean, the fact that your dad took you to a Slayer show is so badass.
Mm-hmm.
Badass is looking back, going, "Damn, that is badass."
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
That's real.
That happened. That is so badass.
It just dawned on me, like, your first concert experience was Slayer, and my first,
Wasn't
concert...
the first, but go ahead.
Well, mine about that same era. You went to see Slayer, I went to see Stryper. That could not be...
It could be
that could not be any more
Polar opposite.
Yeah, polar opposite.
My first was probably Bon Jovi in '86, and then
I saw Bon Jovi. That's
Ozzy Metallica like 2 months before Cliff
Oh, man,
died.
that's a hell of
Jovi
a
and
show.
Cinderella.
Oh, you got to see Cliff and...
Right.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Oh,
From
my
left to
God,
right,
dude. I didn't
you
know
had
that.
Kirk Hammett, who just kind of stood there. You had James, who sang and then moshed, and then Cliff, who was moshing the whole time.
Yeah, he was.
And-
Yeah, you guys are fucking killing me. I'm getting so jealous over
Damn,
here.
dude.
I know I had a conversation with Matt a couple weeks ago about seeing Alice in Chains.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, man, that is, if there's anything
in
that
a
makes
small
me jealous,
club in L.A., man.
Yeah, right? Like, that
I
is-
think that was FM station, if I'm not mistaken.
That was the venue?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, and they were in town, but they weren't supposed to.
They weren't,
be
like,
there.
on the bill, yeah.
They showed up and played 3 or 4 songs.
That's
and
ridiculous, man.
But that's the way shit went down in California. That is one of the things I found really just fucking cool about that scene, and I think Columbus has the potential for that same kind of scene. There's a lot of talent here.
What's the
A lot of
criteria
talent.
for that potential?
Well,
If you
support.
just say 3, yeah. So
It's the support. It's like the support of the local music scene.
Absolutely.
And
And the
when you're-
venues, you've got to have the venues.
you have
know?
to
That's a
have
critical
venues
component.
that support the local music scene, and as the local artists develop, they want to come back.
Yeah.
And I think that is really what it boils down to.
Yeah, that's what
They
sets one city aside from the other.
to support the clubs that supported them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
I think you're right. And
And Troy's, he's one of those guys.
I was just about to get into that. I was like,
Yeah.
Troy, don't kill me for plugging you on the podcast here, but I think you are, like he said, you're one of those people who are making an impact on the Columbus music scene and what you're
Thank you
doing.
for saying that,
Well,
man.
we
Thank
should
you.
say this.
Support.
Troy Stacy, owner of Craft and Vinyl. Mm-hmm. You've given bands their first place to play.
Us included.
Yeah,
us
including
in our
ourselves.
band and with
what
our
was
podcast.
the Broken Relics was another band we had on here that was someone else, and
Cream Camino.
Cream Camino.
I love all those guys. I love you guys.
legit. We love you.
Yeah, absolutely.
With a
we do.
capital L.
Yeah.
That's capital L,
Yeah.
capital O,
But no.
capital V, and capital
Do you
E.
think when it comes to like what you've learned with Crushing Gravity or your bands, like kind of when you opened up Craft and Vinyl, do you think you kind of already had this mindset of like I know what I can do, just because I've been in the place of where I've needed support. You're now that in a new position of where you are the support. If that makes sense.
Well, not to take the spotlight off our band Crushing Gravity, but I think something that was really important to me, it was a core value of building Craft and Vinyl. It's nurturing the community that ultimately nurtures Craft and Vinyl. You know what I mean? It's giving artists the opportunity to express themselves in the purest manner with their original stuff. You know, we don't do a lot of cover music at Craft and Vinyl, and you know that just ties back to the ideology of create.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard cover songs before. I want to hear something and be inspired by music I've never heard before, you know? It's really important to me as an individual. It's important to me being the owner of Craft and Vinyl. And even as a musician in this community, it's like there's a personal hunger there, too, of seeing great, aspiring artists create things that, as we talked about earlier, it moves the entire group that's in the room, you know, and you just see them plugging in on such an emotional level, and it's important to me.
Absolutely.
As a musician, it's important to me as a small business owner in this community, and, you know, I appreciate you guys saying the kind things you have about Craft and Vinyl. I mean, I just love the community, and I mean that sincerely, you know.
I think you've helped create something that's different from what we've seen here that I think will ultimately lead to the music scene here getting bigger, because like, you know, we've talked to a lot of different bands so far, and one of the things that we've heard almost unanimously is that Columbus has been one of those places. It's very you know, one band put it very political. It's all about who you know. It's all about how you know, if you're going to play a show, good luck unless you know somebody. But you've created something different that now bands have an opportunity that they don't have to just know somebody. You know, they get a hold of you, or they get a hold of your son David, and they have an opportunity to put on a show that they might not have ever had otherwise.
And
So I think that's
a really cool place, too.
Exactly, and you know, I think you found the perfect. I think you found the perfect niche that Columbus needed. You know, something that we didn't, something that wasn't here before. And you found the perfect place to blend right in and create something new. So
it was really cool, man. We got a neat accolade yesterday, Experience Columbus, which is kind of like the name for Columbus's travel and tourism office or whatever, named Craft and Vinyl as the city's most unique destination to experience all things musical. And I think it's because of all the things we just talked about. We try to keep it real, and honest and authentic. And I think as a small business owner, that speaks to my love of the music scene. And
absolutely.
It does help validate everything that my family has invested to create this venue, and know that it matters to people, you know. And I'm very, very thankful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, without you and without the support that you've given us in the community, I mean, we wouldn't be where we are today. So, like I said, we thank you for that.
Oh man, my pleasure.
Now, to dig a little bit into to Crushing Gravity.
Yeah.
What are your guys' plans for the future? Where do you see yourselves? Where do you want to be? What do you want to do?
Meeksy?
Well, we're working on trying to create some new songs.
Okay.
You know, and jamming out. We're messing with the Alice in Chains song.
Okay.
Man in the Box.
Oh man,
that's
a crowd pleaser.
That just kind of came together one night. We just started jamming on
Out
it.
of the blue, dude.
We were, you know, having fun with that, and just trying to write new songs and keep it going.
Yeah,
having fun with it.
Yeah, and we're adapting. You know, obviously, you know, with Mike.
Yeah, with losing our founding
Mike,
guitarist.
We've been adapting.
We're looking for a rhythm guitar player.
We are indeed looking for a rhythm guitar player for our band.
we are. We've got a candidate.
Well, yeah, we've had a lot of people express their interest, but we're just, it's really hard when, you know, you've had somebody in the band that, you know, you just love them so much. It's a challenge to open up your heart kind of to invite somebody else into that world, you know.
Yeah, like you said, opening up your heart. It's almost a band is kind of a relationship.
It is, man. It's a family.
As goofy as that sounds, it's a relationship. It's a family, and you have to find somebody that can work with that.
There's a couple
that fits
things
your
going on, you know, all together when letting someone new in. I think, like we said, there's a new creative mind.
Yeah.
Are you going to be used to showing someone their ideas, or like, do you think their musical ideas will fall in line with yours?
Yeah, like do we sync up?
Yeah.
And that is that particular piece of the puzzle is extremely it's rare.
It's a challenge to
it's
find
rare.
somebody who links up with you that way, but
Alex like, so
Our guitar player Alex, who is home not feeling well tonight.
yeah,
Booze flu.
We love you, Alex.
With the
Feel
booze,
better,
buddy.
buddy.
He's peeing out of his butt right
just
now.
kidding. But no, he fell into place like immediately.
Oh yeah.
It was weird, man.
And he's a really good guy too. I just
my
want to
God,
vouch
he's
for
a
the
sweetheart.
for the
He's so
listeners.
fucking
you know,
funny,
we've,
man.
We've
He
met
is a
him.
cool guy.
He's just about as crazy as us.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. He's.
Yeah, he fits
Just
right
about.
in.
Well, yeah, I think he's actually.
Yeah,
he
sometimes
hits
I
the
think
line.
he leads the show on crazy.
Well, yeah,
Maybe,
well,
yeah,
that's the
sure.
funny part. Is because like when I first met him, I don't know what to expect. I have no clue. When you meet new people,
Yeah.
you don't know what to expect from people.
Mm-hmm.
But then, right after we went in here, we went over to Jimmy V's, and I'm like, man, this guy's fucking awesome. Like,
He's so funny.
Like I said,
he keeps us in
Start to
stitches.
finish, I learned so much from the guy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more than he's given us more than what we wanted.
He's such a talent, too,
You'll get that too.
yeah, no, he's a good
You'll
guy.
get that too. Oftentimes you get more than what you bargained for when you're dealing with creative people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
because-
Absolutely. You never know
we
what you're
kinda-
getting yourself into.
Right. We kind of talked about,
Yeah.
preceding the interview thing. We've talked about musicians and sort of being on that level.
It's a special kind of person for
It
sure.
is.
It takes a special
You're-
kind of person to be.
It certainly
Yeah.
does. It certainly does.
Absolutely.
I think one other point, too, like, what are you guys, what's your plan for the future? Meeksy talked about, collaborating and writing new songs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But we're also going to be taking 4 of our songs that we recorded out at Sonic Lounge, and we're going to wrap those up.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, when we do find that new rhythm guitar player soon, we can kind of plug that individual's talents in to kind of putting the finishing touches on those songs. And then we want to do our EP release, just a 4-song project and get it out there. So for me, that's something that's very, very important. It becomes like this artifact that is out there that proves that, boom, I, as a musician, put my little stamp on the music community too. And
Yeah, no, I think it's
Staple in
important to
time.
me. I think it's super cool. The band that we had on yesterday, the Fears, they mentioned that your music outlives you.
It
So,
does.
Most
the
certainly
quality,
does.
the quality is very important. Making sure you put your heart into everything is very important because the music will outlive you. So it's like that's part of your legacy as a person.
absolutely,
I call
man.
it a
That you've
staple
made.
in time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, when you staple pages together and you've got this folding a book,
Yeah.
it's a staple. It's like a staple in time.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's cool to have that. I mean, even if nobody ever hears it, it's cool that you got to put that down, and it's like you can as a
people
person
will
can
hear
look
it.
back. Yeah, yeah,
know?
absolutely. Yeah,
People
people
will
are
hear
gonna
it.
hear it.
Yeah, they're going
But,
to hear it.
even just looking back, I think even in the stuff that I've done, 3
Yeah.
years ago, I look back at it, and it's like that's a snapshot of where I was 3
Then.
years ago. So
Yeah,
I can
man.
only
And that's
imagine.
neat, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
That's
I can
neat.
only imagine looking back on it 20
His
years.
is weird too because he was a rapper when we first started jamming.
Yeah, yeah, that
That
exists.
tells
That's
you.
out there somewhere.
And not
Oh,
saying
my
rap's
daughter
bad.
is
I'm just
a
saying he
major
was
fan.
rapping.
DJ Zach, is
Yeah.
that what was going
It's
on?
out
No,
there.
Zodiac.
It's under the name Zodiac with a K at the end.
Badass,
and
It exists.
And from that, I remember when we first started like jamming and stuff. Then we turned to like a '90s indie rock, alternative rock.
So
Different,
life
just
is
completely
developmental.
different sound.
Yeah, so it's
You
cool
know?
that you can look
Yeah.
back. I can look. That's not where I'm at now, but I can look back and like, wow, I did that. That's cool. That's out
Yeah,
there.
man. That's
cool
So
shit.
that's a cool
That's
thing. It's
proof.
like,
Yeah.
not only is it a part of your legacy, but it's something that it's always there, and you can even look back yourself and say, wow, that's so cool that I was there.
Yeah.
That's where I was 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5
Yeah,
years
it marks
ago.
a moment in your life, and what's really cool, like if you go on SoundCloud and look up "Crushing Gravity," our music, people seem to like it.
Yeah.
We've only got the 4 tracks up there right now, but like our lead out single, "My God Is a Gun," has been played like 1.3 million times, has had 25,000 plus people download it, and it's like,
which is fucking amazing. I mean,
holy
you guys have had
shit,
some
dude,
serious success
you know?
with the music
Yeah.
that you've put out. So it's
Well,
like
I mean,
you guys, you're
someone
doing
likes
something
it.
right. You're doing the.
Someone likes it because they're
Yeah.
downloading the shit. So
Yeah, exactly.
you
So
know.
that's super cool, and it's really cool that you've made that impact on other people's lives.
And I think so. Bringing everything to a conclusion here.
yeah.
When it comes to Crushing Gravity, what do you want people to know about yourself? What are you doing differently?
What are we doing differently? I'm not sure, man. Different? Damn, that's a great question. I don't know that if we're doing things differently. I think we're trying to take the best bits and pieces of the things that have inspired us and trying to do something new, creative, and innovative with it. I mean,
we've got through it. Living through
like
our
music.
Unique
blend of influences.
Right.
Yeah.
We create our music really out of life experience. So and I don't know if that's necessarily different. I think we all kind of do that, but it's the journey. I mean, everyone's journey is different.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
Our perception of your reality is going to be different from mine.
That's funny because I say that all the time.
Yeah.
But perception is reality, and everybody's perception is their reality.
Truth.
Yeah.
So in that, it's we're just creating music
it's
from
inherently different.
Yeah, it's inherently. It most certainly is.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a really good way to put that.
And I think, even me not being a band member, I can tell you, what you're doing different from what I've heard is, this kind of piggybacks off of what Troy said, is you guys have a sound that isn't really around anymore. You don't hear that from pretty much any other band that I've heard recently.
Oh, well,
and you guys have something that, like I said, if I didn't know it was recorded in 2019, I would think I'm listening to something from the 80s or 90s.
That's
and I'd be
badass.
like, this is so fucking cool. So that's what you guys, even from my input,
Zach.
that's what you guys are doing different.
Yeah, it was cool.
you,
Like
man.
when they were playing our single "My God Is a Gun" on the Blitz, they were really speaking to the fact that, wow, this feels like a modern interpretation with current level production values of a song that you could have experienced, a heavy band in the 90s. And it's like, wow, dude, thank you.
No, it's cool to be a part of that because that doesn't exist anymore. Everybody looks back, that's
how we grew up.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
that's what we grew
There's no
up with,
producer in
so-
the band. Everybody actually plays their instrument.
Yeah. There's something.
It's
that's
becoming more and more rare.
That's exactly what I was about to say. It's becoming few and far between.
It's unfortunate I guess in that light.
Yeah.
So where do you guys want to plug your social media?
Yeah, where can people find your music?
Where can we find your music?
Jump on SoundCloud and just search for Crushing Gravity, and our tracks will pop up. We're on Facebook. We don't do Instagram or Twitter or anything like
I think
that.
we're on Reverbnation too, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's still out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reverbnation, man.
Yeah, Reverbnation, Crushing Gravity.
Or you can come to Craft and Vinyl on November 29th. It's Black Friday Record Store Day, and our band, Crushing Gravity, will be playing along with the guys from Koya Hill, Cream Camino, just Project Phoenix will be here.
Man, hell of a lineup on that.
Yeah, it's gonna be ridiculous, man.
Get the hell in here.
It's gonna be
Shameless
ridiculous.
self-promotion.
Yeah,
I can vouch. It's a hell of a lineup.
Yeah, it'll be nuts.
Should be lit.
Well, thank you, fellas. We really appreciate it.
Likewise.
And,
Thank you, man.
Take it easy.
Playing us out is Gunpowder Politics by Crushing Gravity.